Let's bring in former Assistant Secretary of State for George W. Bush and former Naval Intel Officer Robert Charles. Robert, thank you so much for joining us. So we have this deal that appears to be emerging, which could be huge news. Still, Iran always promises a lot and delivers very little, so we won't know everything until it's completely set in stone. But the details that could potentially be emerging sound like they could be a really big deal, like Iran giving up its nuclear stockpile, reopening the Strait of Hormuz, and the president said on Truth Social that it would ensure Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. So what are your thoughts on what we know so far?
Look, if this actually happens, it will be world-changing. There are four basic issues. One is get rid of the nuclear material. The second is open the Strait of Hormuz. The third is end their support for Hezbollah, which would be massive in its own right. And the fourth, which people are not talking about, but I guarantee is in the four corners of that paper, is getting rid of or eliminating their long-range ballistic missile program, which could hit, if it was allowed to continue to develop, could hit New York with a conventional weapon. So you've got to stop all four of those. It will be an inflection point for the Middle East and, frankly, for the whole world. And you know, you wonder what would have happened back in the 1930s if Churchill had been able to convince FDR and others to essentially defang and disarm the German Nazis. And I think this is parallel. I mean, what you're doing is disarming and ending a threat that could be existential for Europe, the Middle East, and even the United States.
There was a lot of criticism and concern over the weekend about what could be in this deal. And the president responded this way on Truth Social, saying, "If I make a deal with Iran, it will be a good and proper one, not like the one made by Obama, which gave Iran massive amounts of cash and a clear and open path to a nuclear weapon. Our deal is the exact opposite, but nobody has seen it or knows what it is. It isn't even fully negotiated yet. So don't listen to the losers who are critical about something they know nothing about. Unlike those before me who should have solved this problem many years ago, I don't make bad deals." He says he doesn't make bad deals, but still, of course, this deal hasn't yet to be made. And he has some very high standards as to what will be in it. So if this doesn't cross the finish line, what happens next?
You know, Carly, I have really three comments. The first is the president is doing this exactly right. As someone who was an assistant secretary of state and worked in two White Houses, you have to be methodical. You don't go, ready, aim, fire. You go ready, you go ready, aim, fire. You don't go ready, fire, aim. And I think that's what he's doing. The second point I'll make is I happen to be running for governor right now up here in the state of Maine. People make up nonsense every day, and you just have to understand critics abound. And as I think Theodore Roosevelt once said, it's the man in the arena that matters. Everybody else doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, the last big thing is this is a deal that has to come to fruition. The president is making it clear to Iran and to all of our allies, for the purposes of future Abrahamic Accords, for the purposes of peace, this has to happen. And if it does not happen, my suspicion is there will be a decisive military response. And although some people think that would be good, I personally would like to see this deal come to completion.
So the president also held a phone call with several Muslim and Arab leaders on Saturday and apparently said that if this deal is reached, he wants these countries to sign on to the Abraham Accords and normalize relations with Israel. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham wrote this on X, saying, "If in fact, as a result of these negotiations to end the Iranian conflict, our Arab and Muslim allies in the region agreed to join the Abraham Accords, it would make this agreement one of the most consequential in the history of the Middle East." Tell us what makes this potential scenario so important.
Yeah, I would put it up there with the bringing down of the Iron Curtain if this were to really happen and happen in the way that it appears to be headed. The trajectory is such that what you do is you eliminate the primary source of instability in the Middle East. Iran has been the primary source of instability, not just in terms of supporting Hamas and supporting Hezbollah, but they underwrite terrorism all over the world, and very particularly in the Middle East, in Lebanon, in Syria, in Yemen. If we get rid of that threat, there is no real big major block to bringing these countries back together and creating, as the president started to do in his first term, an extraordinary alliance, almost a patchwork, if you will, of countries that recognize there is a better future than sustained conflict, and essentially making the sectarian conflicts come in second to the common interest.
Well, there was a lot of movement this weekend on the diplomatic front, so we will see if it crosses the finish line. Robert Charles, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for your service as well on this Memorial Day. We appreciate it.
Thank you.